Hello, everybody. My name is Jackson. Like Pablo earlier, I am a recent Sheridan graduate. And as part of our final year of classes, we have to do a capstone project to basically take everything we've learned and do something that we think is cool and that can look good for the school, I guess. And so most of my capstone group's actually here. So thanks, guys. I'm taking the credit. And so when we were deciding what we wanted to do our capstone, this is an 8-month project. We wanted to find something that we would like or that would be valuable for us in our future. So originally, we were having some trouble. So at the time, we were doing a malware analysis class. So we thought maybe we can take some of these concepts and turn it into our own tool. So we thought, let's make a malware analysis multi-tool. Let's take a bunch of the tools that we're using and put them all into one, so it'll do it all automatically. But that was too much. So we did some more research, looked into some more concepts, and we found out about DGA malware. If anyone doesn't know what DGA malware is, it's a domain generating algorithm. So the idea is that both the attacker and the malware on the person's computer have the same randomized seed algorithm. And these randomized seeds, so it'll create both the same string on both the attacker and the infected computer. So this is used for command and control domains. Because if these domains are generated right away, they won't be able to be on any blacklists. They might look a little suspicious because there's no information about them, but they won't be blocked right away. And the thing is, these algorithms create thousands of domains in one go. So if you block one, they just move on to the next and keep changing what they're hosting so it can keep sending them information, or they can send information back. So we thought that this was pretty kind of scary. It's hard to blacklist, and if you can't detect it right away, it could be in there for a little while. And you don't necessarily know what kind of a randomization algorithm they're using. Generally, there's some sort of pattern in them, but it's hard to tell. And so we decided to create a machine learning algorithm that would hopefully help you figure out what is a DGA domain and what is a regular domain. Partly because we thought it was a good idea, and partly because we wanted to learn more about machine learning. And so we ended up creating two algorithms, a supervised algorithm and an unsupervised algorithm. We took a bunch of features from the data. We found a bunch of DGA domains, and we took certain features from them. Basically, we turned the alphanumeric name into a bunch of stats: length, amount of vowels, amount of consonants, some n-grams, and some other things. We found some data sets from past studies that looked at DGA domains, and we've used some publicly available benign domain lists. So for the supervised domain, we figured out which algorithm we were going to use, and we trained it based on our model. And then for the unsupervised domain, which was more my part, I'd say, that I worked on, we basically used graphing algorithms, I'd say, to graph all of the data based on the features and put it all into this big plot graph. And then the algorithm would put them into groups, basically. So you'd see a splotch of red, a splotch of blue, and those would be groups. And so our thinking was, if we use the right features and the right algorithms, perhaps we'll find specific patterns. So some groups might be all DGA, some might be all benign. But it didn't quite work like that. So when we finished the project, we found it had an all right accuracy rate. I think we ended up around like 75 for the supervised. We found this interesting issue with the unsupervised one, where if we had 4 groups, 2 of them would be like almost fully accurate, where one was mostly DGA, one was mostly benign, but then the next 2 would be like pretty much 50-50. So if you have a domain and you put it in this algorithm, you don't want it to be one of the 50-50 ones. That just doesn't really help. But what we figured was, if you can put this into a set with a lot of other domains, and you know that a certain group is 99% DGA, odds are you might want to look into that domain if it gets put there. And you might be able to use that algorithm to help you figure out certain patterns in the domains. If all of them are put in the same group, you might see a certain pattern and might want to look into those. Yeah, but it was a very interesting thing to study. I didn't really know anything about DGA or even much about machine learning going into it. I just think it's important to go out of your comfort zone, learn new things. And that's partly what I'm doing here, I guess. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for my group.